perfect way. You no longer exist, you're no longer anyone.
Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE PLE recaps. I'm your host, the Secret Boss Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have my tag team partner, the EST, Delisha. What's going on, Delisha?
Hello, hello. Almost another Monday, another recap. But we're not recapping today. Well, in a way we are, but welcome for more AfterMat Award Time season. Gotta love it.
Well, welcome, Eric. Thank you for joining us in the chat. I know we'll be seeing you soon, but thank you. It's our other co-host. I was unfortunately unable to continue with us, but he always comes back every year to present the award honoring his mother's name. So we'd love to see him for that. So you'll see him a little bit, but yeah. So it's funny, like 8 seasons, and I'm still loving this theme song. I know we switched it around like season 4. We switched this. I gotta go back and listen to our old theme song and see what that was. But I really love this theme song, and I still like jam out to it. Like you always see me jamming out to it, like when we're starting the chat. Like you and I can see each other, but the people here can't see us. But I'm always excited about it because it sounds so good. But yeah, yeah. So basically, what the AfterMat Awards are, if you're new to the show, we recap our AfterMat year, and I'll tell you what that is in a second. And we celebrate the year, like the best match that we thought was the best match. What we thought the best moment was, the best superstar, the best male superstar, best female superstar, stuff like that. It's about like I think 17 or something awards, and we go through and we make a nomination ballot up, or yeah, I guess nomination ballot, where I send it out to a group of you people who watch wrestling and are in our wrestling Twitter group, and you guys give me nominees for each category, and once I tabulate which nominees have the most, I guess which person or item is nominated the most times, the 4 that are nominated the most, I put that onto the final ballot, and I send it back out to you guys to vote from amongst those 4. And of course, the highest, the item that garners the highest amount of votes is the winner of that category. And we talk about the AfterMat season. The AfterMat season lasts from, or starts with the Monday Night Raw after the previous year's WrestleMania through this year's WrestleMania. So, for example, this year, Season 8 covered the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 40 through WrestleMania 41, which was last weekend. So that's what the AfterMat season contains. So then Season 9 will start with the Raw from last week, which is the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 41, all the way through WrestleMania 42. So that's pretty much it. Like, we always thought, like, I think we started the awards maybe after Season 5 or during Season 5 or something like that. I can't remember exactly when, but we're always like, hey, we always talk about, like, what do you think our best match was this year? And we never we're like, why don't we just make an award show for it? Because they could figure it out from what everyone thought. And like, we always want to thank people for helping us out, creating the ballots, voting for it and all that. And if you ever want to get in on voting or making the ballots, just contact me on Twitter or X, whatever it's called. It's in the description below. And we'll get to it. Also, don't forget, we got to mention MeiBDoodlin. She drew the new art, the avatars for us. The new Secret Boss avatar and the new EST avatar. So thank you to MeiBDoodlin. Her link is in the description below for DeviantArt, so go check it out and support her there. I think there is also some new channel art coming our way, so make sure you wait around for that. She's an amazing artist, so make sure you support her in any way you can. I think my camera's going out again. I don't know what. See, like today, like I don't know, like I changed the angle of the camera so you can actually see my shirt more, and like now it's just like getting blurry for some reason. I don't know why, but I am wearing the Dominic and Live in Dirty shirt, which has like the area codes, and I had to get it because it has my area code on it, so I was like really excited for it. Gotta support the hometown girl, Liv Morgan, and she's up for a few awards tonight, and so is Dominic. So I think it's Dominic's like first time or second time being on the ballot this year, so we'll see if it played out for him well or not. One more thing we have to mention: Will was going to join us, the Firefox Will, was supposed to join us tonight. Unfortunately, he had family plans last minute that sprung up on him. But he did write out his awards. Like, he was gracious enough to write out his awards. You know how we do 2-3 lines on each award nominee. He wrote out his award. So Zalisha and I will be presenting what he wrote tonight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the first award. The first award is for the promo of the year, and I believe this is Will's category. So the nominees for the promo of the year are. Oh, I guess I should explain what a promo is, right? A promo is kind of like a speech or a segment a wrestler has to kind of promote a match or themselves, or a feud, I guess. So, because I think we have some newcomers here today, so I want to make sure I explain wrestling terms to them. So promo, because they just learned what a heel and a face were recently, I think. So, yeah. So like a promo is kind of like a promotional segment that a wrestler or any superstar or manager or any on-face personality, on-air personality, sorry, has that will promote a certain match, a segment, a feud, themselves, or something like that. That's why it's called the promo. And so the promo of the year nominees are, first, we have John Cena explains his heel turn. So this is the Brussels promo where John explains his actions from Elimination Chamber. He said that he's not a babyface, he's not a heel, he's a human being. He explains that for 25 years, the WWE Universe has been in an abusive relationship with him. That they've been abusing him and bullying him for the past 25 years, and he'd even start poking fun at a kid in the front row that was dressed up basically as him. So the next nominee is Cody Rhodes on Kevin Owens. This was the week after Kevin Owens pile drove Randy Orton. Owens started blaming Cody for everything, saying that after 4 years, he fought with the Bloodline, and when Roman was feuding with, as soon as Roman needed a partner, Cody came to his rescue. Owens felt betrayed by that fact because he's been fighting alongside Cody against the Bloodline, but now Cody's siding with the Bloodline. And then Orton sided with Cody, so that's why Owens attacked Orton. Rhodes would tell Owens that he failed to pull the trigger in Berlin and pulled the trigger at the wrong time on the wrong person, meaning he pulled the trigger on Orton. Owens' final response is that he loves Randy, but he hates Cody. The third nominee is that John Cena announces his retirement. At Money in the Bank 2024, Trish Stratus would gift Toronto with a John Cena appearance. As happy as that made people appear, this also made the WWE Universe sad because John Cena came to the ring and ultimately announced that he's retiring. He said that 2025 would be his last year in wrestling, the Royal Rumble will be his last Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber will be his last Elimination Chamber, and WrestleMania would be his last WrestleMania as an active competitor. You will not see him as an active wrestler after 2025 ends. And the final nominee is Charlotte and Tiffany go off script. What started as a promo between two for their preparation for the WrestleMania match with Wade Barrett in the ring would quickly spiral out of control into a mess. It moved into a deep cut personal shots, including Tiffany saying Charlotte was 0-3 in the marriage category because outside of wrestling, Charlotte has been divorced 3 times, while Charlotte responded by saying that Ludwig Kaiser was in her DMs. Ludwig Kaiser is Tiffany Stratton's longtime partner. Okay, and the AfterMat award for promo of the year goes to John Cena explains his heel turn. That garnered 5 votes. KO and Cody promo garnered 1, and the Charlotte and Tiffany going off script also garnered 1. So this is kind of like a pretty big winner. What do you think of that promo, Delisha? Do you think it rightfully won this category?
I think so, on account of it was I believe the first or one of the first heel promos he's done since being the Doctor of Thugonomics and gaining popularity from there. And just the fact that we know we have a set time for his appearances, and we don't know how long this heelness will go. I mean, according to him, it'll be for the whole time, but that will remain to be seen. I think it added a little weight to the promo itself versus the others, which were good. But I think the fact that it's one of his last appearances that we'll see throughout the next year, I think that's what added the weight to this nomination.
Thank you, Meryl Malaysia, for joining as well, throwing in some insight about Rhea winning and Roxanne being there this year too as well. And Eric agrees that WrestleMania night 1 wasn't as good as night 2, which I think talked about as well. Okay, our next category is female's next gen superstar of the year, and that is for the female NXT superstar of the year. So next gen meaning the next generation, what's coming up. So if you think of NXT as the minor leagues or developmental brand of the main roster of WWE, which compromises of Raw and SmackDown brands, there is a developmental league called NXT right below it. So once those superstars are good enough, they get called up, much like in like baseball or any other sport where they have a farm team or a developmental league, developmental team or minor league team, something like that. Once they're good enough, they get called up to the major leagues or the big leagues. This is what it's like. NXT is considered their developmental league or the minor leagues, and this award is celebrating or acknowledging the best female NXT talent.
All right. And there was a lot to choose from, but we can only choose 4 for our awards. So our first nominee is Roxanne Perez, the prodigy as she is known as, but most of this past season enjoying her second reign, ruling as the NXT Women's Champion. She is the third of 2-time Women's Champions next to Shayna Baszler and Charlotte Flair. By beating the likes of Lola Vice and Jada Parker and Jordan Grace, just to name a few of her contemporaries that she's beaten this year. She also set the record in this year's Royal Rumble, which I believe was her debut, for 1 hour and 7 minutes. And then she also got the opportunity, because of that, to complete in the Elimination Chamber. That she showcased that she might be undersized, but she is not to be underestimated, and has now taken her skills on to the main roster. So we look forward to seeing what she does there. Next, we have Julia, who is the spelling that gets me off every time, who made her debut back at No Mercy with a face-off against Roxanne, where she got to showcase her skills in the ring a few weeks later against Chelsea Green. And she also teamed up with I just call her bestie. I don't know if that's actually true, but her bestie Stephanie Vakir, to take on Cora Jade and Roxanne as well. And it wasn't long after that she was looking at Championship Gold, where she defeated and ended Roxanne's reign at New Year's Evil. And unfortunately, due to injury, she only lasted 63 days as champion when she was defeated by said Bestie Vakir. But upon her return, she actually turned on her, making a statement that she wanted to do anything to get back to her winning status. Unfortunately, she did lose at the Stand and Deliver pay-per-view, PLE. They still call it PLE. But she also showed that even in loss, she is still a force to be reckoned with. Speaking of Stephanie, she is our next nominee, who also made her debut at that New Year's Evil PLE, but it was via video or satellite, as they would say in WWE. But much like her counterpart, she showed that she is as tough as they come, where she's competed, I believe, in every NXT PLE since her debut till now. Excuse me. Included Deadline and participating in the Iron Survivor match, Halloween Havoc, and New Year's Evil, just to name a few. She defeated Fallon Henley to become the first Chilean NXT North American champion, which she would hold alongside the NXT Women's Championship when she defeated Julia at Roadblock. She would then relinquish the North American title to give others a chance while she defended the NXT Women's Championship, which she did so in fashion in a fatal 4-way at the latest Stand and Deliver. But only the future will tell how dominant she would be as champion. And then lastly, but not least, of course, we have Miss Jada Parker, or Miss Parker as the fans like to tout as she walks out to the ring. She has been the epitome of upward mobility on the NXT roster. After spending the first few months of our AfterMat season with her OTM stable feuding with the family, she then moved on to bigger prospects, looking to gain NXT Gold. Although she fails in those attempts to capture the NXT North American Championship and the Women's Championship, respectively, the last few months has shown that her time is soon to come, and she was rewarded with her efforts of the past year by being able to compete in her first Royal Rumble. All these ladies have shown great success throughout I'm just going to call it season, just so you know, meaning our AfterMat season. But there can only be one winner, and the winner is Stephanie Vakir. I believe her talent cannot be denied, especially being a two belt holder, in the NXT roster. But how do you think she was the right choice? And what about and the rest of the nominees? Did you think they deserve to get those votes to be on the ballot?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. I just want to say welcome to Technical Genius. Thank you for joining. Technical has been a long time supporter of this channel as well. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, for me, let me just talk about the award. Yeah, Stephanie won it. It was only two nominees actually garnered votes. Stephanie got 4, Roxanne got 3. I really like Stephanie. She's my favorite in NXT right now. I think she's great. Julia, I still can't get a handle of yet. But I think she might be called up. Jada, I don't really care for much. I don't think Jada is very good. She also has that Tiffy time thing that she does, which I think is not like Tiffy's thing that she does, but like I don't know. And I don't like her finisher, like the butt bump or the hit bump. I also don't like what Naomi. I mean, I think Naomi is cooler until she does a split kind of thing and jumps in the air and does it. Whereas like I understand what Jada's doing, but why not use your knee or something harder than your butt or hip bone or whatever she's doing? Honestly, I think Roxanne deserved this. I voted for Roxanne. She narrowly lost 4-3, but I think Roxanne was pretty much tried and true the entire season. Stephanie was good the last maybe 2 months of the season of the AfterMat season. So as much as I love Stephanie, I think Roxanne really deserved this because this is kind of her last year in the NXT pretty much, and she pretty much carried the company in her time there when she was in the main event spotlight. And I think she did one last year, so I guess it's okay. And you know what? You know what I kind of noticed with these next gen awards is like whoever wins our next gen award ends up going to the main roster and does pretty well. Because I think now Roxanne's going to be going up, right? From last year, and then Braun Breaker also won last year and went up. Or I think Lyra actually won last year for us. I don't know if Lyra won or Roxanne won. One of them. I know Roxanne won 1 year and Lyra won 1 year too. So I think maybe Lyra won last year, and she's now the first ever Intercontinental Champion, right? Women's Intercontinental Champion. So this show knows. Our Triple H watches it and just goes by what we say, which I think, since he does call me. But yeah, I agree. Stephanie, it's great, but I think Roxanne deserved it. That brings us to our next award, which is the male superstar of the year. So this is the superstar, the male superstar is for the male on the main roster, either Raw or SmackDown, that best exemplified, best personality, best wrestling, best matches, best promos, all that kind of stuff. And I believe Alicia's covering this match as well.
Yeah, so our first nominee is going to be Jacob Fatu, also known as the Samoan Werewolf, which it's hard to believe has only been in WWE for about a year, if not a little over a year. But that speaks to the impact he has made being the enforcer to first being the enforcer to Solo Sikoa, and after Solo lost to Ulufala to Roman, Fatu took it upon himself to show what he really could do as a solo act, no pun intended, with feuds against Braun Strowman and LA Knight, in which he defeated the latter at Mania for the US title. The scariest thing about Fatu isn't his snarl or brutalism in the ring, it's the fact that we've only scratched the surface of what he's capable of. Our next nominee is no stranger to the AfterMat Awards, is Mr. Drew McIntyre. When he's not getting into it with folks on Twitter, he's claymoring his colleagues in and sometimes out of the ring. The Scottish psychopath had one of his best years feuding with the likes of CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Damian Priest. You may not like what he has to say sometimes on the mic, but you have to admit most of the time, he's right. Our next nominee after that is CM Punk. And although he did spend much of his return of injury, when he came back, he got right back into the swing of things, resuming his feud with the likes of Drew, Seth, with the masterclass of It's On Site energy. Punk then got to create his wish to main event WrestleMania, which he did this past year on night 1, battling with Seth and Roman to prove that even in loss, he is still the best in the world. And lastly, but again, not least, we have Dominic Mysterio, Dom, as Liv likes to call him, has shown the most progression of his career thus far in this AfterMat season. Most recently in his feuds with Braun Breaker and Penta, and being involved in that IC title scene, has turned fans around from booing him off the mic to cheering him even in his win at Mania after defeating Braun Breaker, Penta, and his stablemate Finn Balor for the title. He just may be the best lucha alive that he claims to be. And the winner for our male superstar of the year goes to Mr. Drew McIntyre. You can't deny he's been a force in the WWE, whether he was in a match, not having a match, in a backstage segment, or like I said, on Twitter. He was everywhere, and he really was involved in some of the biggest storylines of the year throughout the year. So we had to reward him by getting a nominee and ultimately getting that win for the male superstar of the year. What about you, Cal? Would you agree that he was one of the more dominant forces of this year, or did you think he should have gone to someone else?
So this is going to be also peeling the curtains back. Well, let me give about what the breakdown was. Jacob Fatu got 1 vote. CM Punk got 2 votes. Dominic Mysterio got 1 vote, and then Drew McIntyre got 3 votes. And the deciding vote was me, because I usually vote last just to see, like, sometimes if I feel a certain way, I try to break the ties if I can. If not, if I really feel like, for example, like, actually, it hasn't happened yet in the voting. But yeah, if there is a thing where I can break a tie, I try to do it, but I'll always still vote with my heart. And I did vote for my heart with, like, as much as I love CM Punk, I felt Drew McIntyre utterly deserves. Like, if I voted with, like, who I like, it would have been CM Punk. But I voted for who deserved the award, and it was Drew McIntyre, so he won 3-2 over my, like, favorite person at the time right now, or long time coming, is CM Punk. So Drew McIntyre deserved it. I think he carried the company through the pandemic for a while. If it wasn't Roman Reigns, on the other side of the other brand, it was Drew McIntyre. And he's still been strong. He hasn't had a bad feud, right? Like, I don't think he's had a bad feud, like, ever. And he always has a great match. He always cuts great promos. And not only just promos, on social media, he does stuff too, which is hilariously digging at other wrestlers and stuff like that. So he's, like, killing it on all aspects. That's why I really feel Drew McIntyre deserves this award, and I had to go with him over who I like. I also want to note that I think every male superstar here is different from last year's 4 nominees. Because I think last year we had, like, Gunther, Roman, Cody, and Seth. So that's another thing.
Yep.
We had, like, Gunther, Roman, and Cody, like, all over, tattooed all over last year's awards. Like, it was a bloodline. It was either Gunther or it was Cody. This year, they're not. They show up here and there, but they're not tattooing every award. Like, every category. They're not in every category like they were last year. So you can see the shift of how the stories are going in the WWE. That brings us to our next award, which is the PLE of the year. PLE of the year. And a PLE is basically, used to be what the people call a pay-per-view. It's now called the Premium Live Event. It occurs monthly, and our show, AfterMat, recaps each WWE PLE that's in America. Well, that's not Saudi, okay? So anything that's not Saudi, basically, not that we hate Saudis. I love Saudis. Alicia hates Saudis. And contrary to most people's belief, we give women some rights here on AfterMat. Not for much longer if Alicia keeps acting the way she does, but we do give them some rights here. The secret boss is eventually going to take over fully, like he's doing in real life. You'll see what happens. But we cover every PLE. PLE is like the culmination of the storylines from the regular shows, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, as well as NXT. They culminate in their story arcs on an event that takes place at one night of the year, or one night every month, and that's where all the storylines kind of converge and culminate into a last final showdown, and that's called a Premium Live Event, what used to be called a pay-per-view. And the nominees for PLE of the year are Bad Blood 2024. Bad Blood featured the climactic ending of the Punk-McIntyre feud inside Hell in a Cell, with Punk finally putting McIntyre away. The namesake of the PLE was in full effect as Damian Priest and Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan addressed their Bad Blood. The main event saw Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns put their differences aside to defeat the New Bloodline. However, the most shocking moment was the ominous return of the final boss. Survivor Series 2024 War Games. War Games made its annual return as the women's match saw the Team Rhea defeat Team Liv, Shinsuke Nakamura defeat Max Dupree for the U.S. Championship, and Braun Breaker successfully defended his IC title in a triple threat match against Sheamus and Kaiser. Gunther retained the World Championship against Damian Priest, and the men's match saw the reunification of the Bloodline, now joined by CM Punk, to defeat the New Bloodline. Elimination Chamber, Toronto. Bianca Belair defeated 4 other women to become the number 1 contender for the Women's World Championship. Trish Stratus returned to her hometown to team with Tiffany and defeat Nia and Candice. Kevin Owens, my screen's gone black. Okay. Kevin Owens defeated Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match. The main event saw John Cena return to form and defeat 5 other superstars to garner a shot at Cody Rhodes. The night ended with a shocking heel turn by John Cena when he decimated Cody. Finally, we have Bash at Berlin. Cody got his revenge against Kevin Owens in the opening match, which was followed by Bianca and Jade capturing the women's tag team titles. CM Punk defeated Drew in a strap match and thus bringing their feud event at 1 match apiece. An intergender match between the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, defeating the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. And in the main event, the hometown hero Gunther defeated Randy Orton. And the winner of the PLE of the year is Elimination Chamber Toronto. That had 4 votes. Close behind that was Survivor Series with 3, and that's it. So those are the only 2 that got votes. And I completely agree. This is just monumental turn in the WWE storyline. This is huge. So I don't know. What do you think, Delisha?
Yeah. All of these, why did words escape me? I was like, all these PLEs, even after years, I still say pay per view. It's just ingrained in me. I mean, I guess they were voted for a reason. But all of them were really great. So it was really hard to pick one. I don't even remember which one I picked. It might have been Chamber. Well, sorry.
I think you picked Chamber.
This actually might have been one of the hardest categories to like I said, since they were all good, it was probably one of the hardest for me to pick from. But ultimately, I think we all, well, no, I shouldn't say we all, because not everyone voted for the same. But I think it didn't matter which one, because I would have been like, they deserved it. So it makes no heads or tails which one would have won. But I couldn't blame anyone for picking whichever. What about you? Did you choose too? Or did you
of course. Anything that has The Rock, the final boss, in it, I love. And Cena's heel turn made national news, right? So some of the people I talk to now online, they're saying like, oh, we learned what the heel turn was because our friends taught us about what happened with Cena. Because they're like, they saw it on TikTok or they saw it on the news, and I'm like, we don't know what a heel. They didn't know what a heel was until I was like, oh yeah, that's when somebody becomes a bad guy. But yeah, that's cool. Like that, it's such a big event that like got national news. It was on TikTok. It was on all social media. It was on CNN. It was on Fox. It was on everything. You know, like it's kind of crazy. So that's why I thought it was so monumental that I had to vote it for the PLE of the year. Our next category is match of the year. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. The match that we thought was the best of the year, that had the biggest spots being like moments in the match that were like made us go, oh my god, or something, or completed a storyline very well. They told a very good story through the match that Delisha loves to do, or loves about matches. If they have a good story, she's all for it. So let's see. The first nominee for match of the year is Men's War Games from Survivor Series 2024. The Men's War Games saw the reunion of the Bloodline alongside CM Punk defeat the New Day, led by Solo Sikoa. Defeat the New Bloodline, led by Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns was finally able to muster his family against the proclaimed usurper. The match saw high spots of many dives off the cage, including a crushing missed splash by Bronson Reed. Every member of the OG Bloodline was able to get a shot in on Solo Sikoa until Roman ultimately speared him and pinned him. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell, from Bad Blood 2024. This match opened up Bad Blood, but certainly lived up to its name. CM Punk was almost immediately busted open, and then Drew McIntyre followed in suit after being bashed in the head with a toolbox. A brutal back-and-forth match ensued, ending with CM Punk wrapping his knee in a chain and hitting the GTS on McIntyre, and ending the vicious feud with a victory. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, triple threat match, WrestleMania 41. Despite Rollins' pleas for Roman to team up with him to help eliminate Punk from the match, it was a free-for-all that spilled into the crowd. This match featured numerous finishers, close counts, and both announcer tables getting destroyed. Ultimately, Paul Heyman was a deciding factor as he turned on both CM Punk and Roman Reigns by handing a chair to Seth Rollins to recreate his Shield betrayal and pick up the win. And finally, the Fatal 4-Way Intercontinental match featuring Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, and who's the last person? I have no idea. Oh, Finn Balor at WrestleMania 41. Oh, I said it in the next sentence. Oh well. a high-impact match featuring IC champion Braun Breaker against Penta and the two members of Judgment Day, Finn and Dominic. Braun really had the odds stacked against him, as all his opponents saw him as his greatest threat, and thus took turns trying to put him down. But however, Breaker was relentless in his pursuit to retain, and he hit several crushing spears on almost everyone, including Carlito on the outside. At the end, a sneaky Dominic hit a frog splash on his fellow Judgment Day member, Finn, as he covered Braun after a coup de grace. Dominic picked up the victory and also won the Hearts of the WWE Universe. And the winner of the best match of the year goes to CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood 2024. This gained 3 votes. The men's War Game match gained 2 votes. And the Fatal 4-Way match at the Intercontinental Championship gained 2 votes as well. Unfortunately, the main event of night 1 did not gain any votes. But what do you think? I think after that AfterMat, because this was early on in the season for AfterMat, and when we saw it, we were like, this has the chance or potential or is going to be the match of the year. And look, all this time later, everyone still agreed, and it is still the match of the year for us. And, it's great to see. What do you think, Alicia?
Yeah, it was so good. I am kind of shocked that the triple threat didn't get a vote, at least one. But I think maybe a lot of times, like me, just to like pull the curtain back, sometimes these Mania matches I don't choose because of recency bias, unless they truly were like outstanding. But yeah, that Hell in a Cell match was one for the ages. It not only the match of the year, it might have been one of the best Hell in a Cells we've had in quite some time. Because of the feud that they were having that warranted this match, and it paid off with everything that they were doing in the ring, or basically it looked like they were trying to kill each other. So it was just brutal in all the most glorious ways possible. So I am glad that it did come true that this was not everyone's, but this was our match of the year. And this doesn't mean that the other matches weren't great. Obviously, they made it onto the ballot for nominations. Just that something about Drew and Bug, they have chemistry for sure. And I would like to see them matched up again. Not anytime soon because we had enough over the last year. But I would love to see them running back at some point in the future.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm so glad it stayed there, and I'm really happy to see it. Okay, our next category is Underused Talent of the Year, what I like to call the That's Me in the Corner Award. And that's for the talent, like as you said, as it says, is most underused. So they're on the roster, but they're not really being used. You don't see them on TV, you don't see them in matches, you don't see them on PLEs, and they're just on the roster burning the money of the company. So we'd love to see them there, but we don't see them. And this is the person that we feel should be on TV, but is not really on TV. Go ahead, Alicia.
Yeah, or also, as we like to also joke, they're just hanging out and catering backstage. Her first nominee is Alexa Bliss. After a 2-year hiatus from WWE, Bliss would return in the 25 Royal Rumble match, and then she would also, which she did not win, and then she would also qualify for the Women's Elimination Chamber, and then after that, we have no idea where she is. Vanished, like I said, lost in catering. While there are rumors that she would be returning with the Wyatt Six at some point, we just have not seen her, so we have no idea what's going on with her. And a talent like hers, as everyone in this category, is to not be wasted. And next we have Karrion Kross. Mostly appeared in this last year in the background of backstage segments. Karrion Kross is not getting major screen time since the Final Testament and Wyatt Six program came to an end. The man is even kept off WrestleMania card in his hometown of Las Vegas. And at the very least, he wasn't released with the rest of his stable. So he's got that going for him. And then we have Shayna Baszler, a member of Pure Fusion Collective. I still hate that name. Shayna is a skilled fighter and in-ring competitor. While she makes appearances here and there, they are used to put over other makeshift tag teams or other talent in the ring. And then lastly, and I guess maybe in this category we would say leastly, since we don't see them that often, after a well-praised Best of 7 series with Carmelo Hayes, Andrade has had very little ring time or screen time. He has lacked a serious program and is way too skilled in the ring to be left backstage twiddling his thumbs. in catering. And the winner of this category is Karrion Kross, or I don't know if we should call them a winner either. Like I said, this category is all about not being used. Yeah, this is another category where honestly you got 10, 20 different people in the nominations. I think we have also had a lot of varied well, Cal, you could be said we had a lot of varied nominations but ultimately this is what the ballot landed on. But yeah, Karrion Kross is one because he is what we call a Triple H guy. If when you think about back to his NXT days where he was so dominant and so heavily featured, and then we had the fumbled main roster debut a couple of years ago. Then he got released and he came back and he's had a little bit of a run, like you said, with the Wyatt Six and the Final Testament storylines. And then once those other stablemates got released and as in AOP, he's kind of just been floundering, just seen in the background. But that seems to be getting a slight turnaround from Mania. As I think, I don't know if they've made this clear on TV, but a lot of online communities, like everyone who's turned heel on Raw, pretty much he was in the background, putting his little puppeteering that to fruition. So I wonder if they'll play around with that in the future. But do you agree with this choice, or do you think that one of the other nominees should have gotten that vote or win?
Yeah, the votes ended up Alexa Bliss with 1, Andrade with 1, Shayna Baszler and Karrion Kross with 2 each, and then I was the final vote, and I went for Karrion Kross because I really agree with that. Shayna Baszler won the award last year, so I wasn't really concerned with her winning it this year because I don't think she's been on TV a lot with the Pure Fusion Collective. It just hasn't picked up. No one really cares for it. It's just stupid. They just call them like 3 lesbians or whatever they call them. So for me, it's like what?
It said not even 3 anymore.
Oh yeah, not even 3 anymore. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like literally, that they're known for being like lesbians. Just not even all of them are lesbians. It makes no sense. No one really called it the PFC or Pure Fusion Collective. But Shayna Baszler did win last year. Karrion Kross has been around the entire time. Andrade, I don't know if he's been around for the entire year or not. Maybe he has. But Alexa Bliss just made her return from being pregnant and all that off TV at Royal Rumble, so she's not that much time for her to be the underused talent of the year. Kind of like Stephanie Becker, I agree that she shouldn't have won that, but she did. But so I guess it can go anyway. But Karrion Kross definitely deserves it. Now he spoke up vehemently on podcasts and stuff and cut like a viral video on it, on an interview. So I'm sure he's gonna be picked up now, especially because he's being used a little more. Like you said, he's been the puppet master behind the scenes for a lot of little storylines. So I definitely agree with this. And I really want to see, and as we know, Triple H watches the show, so we'll see how Karrion Kross' role has been picked up. Because remember, Shayna Baszler wasn't really used, and then they put her in the PFC because they saw that she won last year. So, it's been going. And the Fiend won like a few years before that, and then he was picked up again. Remember, like Fiend was picked up again, and then unfortunately passed away. But like I'm telling you, man, Triple H and them watch the show. One of them, somebody at WWE watches the show. All right. Our next category, I believe, is the storyline of the year. So things that make up a good WWE angle kind of thing is a story and a match, right? That's 50-50 how it goes. Well, I guess you can call it maybe 33%, right?
From the truthaboutguns.com.
What the hell? Echo, stop.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't know how that happened. So there's a story that goes into it. The wrestlers participate in the story via match and promos, but there's also production and all that kind of stuff. But storyline's the major aspect of the match. That's not the match, I mean. And the first nominee is John Cena's farewell tour. Cena made a surprise return at Money in the Bank Toronto to announce that he will be retiring at the end of 2025. He deemed 2025 as the John Cena farewell tour with approximately 30 to 40 dates left in his career. However, the most shocking aspect was his heel turn in his final run. Naomi, Jade, and Bianca. Jade Cargill was attacked by an unknown assailant on SmackDown, thus leaving her tag team partner Bianca distraught. Naomi stepped up to help defend the tag team titles with Bianca during Jade's absence. During the investigation, there were several red herrings, including the identity of Jade's attacker being Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. However, it was finally revealed to be Naomi as Jade punishingly attacked her at the start of the Women's Elimination Chamber. Bianca was shocked to see this attack, but ultimately relented to Jade's wishes ending in a match between Jade and Naomi at WrestleMania 41. Chad Gable and the Luchadors. Chad Gable challenged Adam Pearce to find the best luchador, and Penta made his debut to defeat Gable. This began Chad's downfall against luchadors, including members of the LWO. Chad sought help from Dominic, who advised him to go to Mexico and meet with the mystery man. Chad roamed the streets of Mexico and was enlightened. Despite all the efforts, Chad seemingly ended his feud with LWO. However, a man named Gran Americano took on his quest and started defeating all the luchadors that once troubled Chad Gable, including Rey Fenix at WrestleMania 41. And finally, Paul Heyman Tug of War. Paul Heyman soon became the most desirable man in WWE as his services were sought out by his tribal chief Roman Reigns and his longtime friend CM Punk. Despite his loyalty to Roman, Paul owed a favor to Punk since Punk joined the OG Bloodline in War Games. This favor was cashed in at WrestleMania 41, where Heyman was in Punk's corner in the triple threat match against Roman and Seth Rollins. However, Heyman betrayed them both and joined Seth Rollins. And the winner of Best Storyline of the Year is the Paul Heyman Tug of War, which gained 3 votes. Chad Gable and the Luchadors gained 2 votes. Naomi, Jade, and Bianca gained 1 vote. And the John Cena Farewell Tour gained 1 vote as well. Do you agree with this, Alicia, how the votes turned out?
I think so. Again, as we talked about earlier, given the weight of the storyline with the Paul Heyman of it all, especially with Roman, and Seth, and all of them. Just like this has been, you could say, decades worth of storyline that has, I wouldn't say culminated, but I guess culminated to that point of Heyman turning on both Punk and Roman to join sides with Seth. I think of against the others, this one had the most weighted story, which is why I voted for it. But I think the other ones definitely warranted being on the ballot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Chad versus the Luchador match, Luchador Angle might have won it, because remember, he came in second place. The only reason it didn't win is because Chad wasn't there throughout the thing, because, Grand Americano took his place. So I think if Chad Gable was still part of the storyline, he would have won. Okay, our next award is for Feud of the Year. That's pretty much obvious. A feud is just a tension between a group of wrestlers or 2 wrestlers or however it may be. But a feud, that's what the Feud of the Year is awarded to. So, the first nominee is Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. At WrestleMania 40, Drew McIntyre won the World Heavyweight Championship. However, he would taunt CM Punk, causing Punk to attack McIntyre. Then at Clash at the Castle, in a match with Priest, Punk would get involved again, this time disguised as a ref. At Money in the Bank, Punk would screw McIntyre out of his cash-in. This would lead to a trio of matches, 1 at SummerSlam, 1 strap match at Bachelor in Berlin, and finishing with a Helmet of Bad Blood. The second nominee, Seth versus Roman versus CM Punk. There was bad blood between all these men. It started at Survivor Series when CM Punk aided Roman Reigns for War Games, saying that Paul Heyman owed him a favor. Seth Rollins would be inserted when on the... Sorry, Will wrote this. Seth Rollins would be inserted when on the debut of... I don't know what that meant. Oh, Seth Rollins would be inserted into the feud, I guess. That's what he means. Seth Rollins would be inserted into the feud when he debuted on the Raw of Netflix. Okay. It continued at the Rumble, where Punk would eliminate both Roman and Seth from the Rumble match. Seth would take both Roman and Punk out in the Rumble and screw Punk in the chamber. Then on Raw in a steel cage, Roman would return and take out Punk and Rollins. This led to the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. In the parking lot after Bad Blood, Kevin Owens would attack Cody Rhodes for teaming with Roman Reigns. The two would have brawls and promos. At the Saturday night's main event, Cody and Kevin would face off for the WWE Championship. Cody would retain, but after the match, KO would hit Cody with a package pile driver and take the Winged Eagle World Championship. The rivalry came to an end when Cody and KO met at the Rumble for both titles in a brutal ladder match. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. At SummerSlam, Rhea and Liv met for the WWE Women's World Championship. They would battle, and Dominic would screw Rhea out of the title and align with Liv. They would spend the majority of 2024 fighting over the title. These included a match where Dominic was in a shark cage. The rivalry would end with Rhea on top. And the winner of Feud of the Year is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. And now this was the most lopsided vote, where Drew McIntyre and CM Punk got 6 votes. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens got 1 vote, which is surprising. I mean, not surprising because that's Will's vote, and Will always votes for Cody, I'm assuming. I'm guessing that's Will's vote, and he always votes for Cody. But, like, if there was another vote to be out, it should have went to Rhea versus Liv, because if it wasn't for Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, I think the second best feud of the year was definitely Liv and Rhea, because that went for a long time, and it was pretty substantial all the time. So, I don't know. I felt like that was pretty big. What do you think about that?
I don't agree about that part, but that's I mean, objectively, I guess I could agree with that. Only, but I've said it before on stream that I was tired of Rhea and Liv, and unlike you, Liv isn't my favorite, so I don't really have, again, like, a much stake in her nominations, I guess. But like I said, objectively, I could see why that would be the next best one. Sorry. I thought I was gonna say, but it didn't go. But yeah, and it went to Drew and CM Punk, right?
Yeah, 6 votes.
Yeah, which is no surprise because we literally just talked about one of them having one of the matches of the year, and it was due to their feud. So it would, in contingency points, make sense that they would also win feud of the year. Like I've said all I said about them too earlier. But yeah, it was just a fun feud to watch throughout the year.
I have 2 points to make. One, I did vote for that one as well. The point that I said is that the one other vote that went to Cody and KO shouldn't have went to them. It should have went to Liv and Rhea, if anything. And Liv, second point is Liv is not even one of my favorites. I don't think she's even on my top 5. So there.
Yeah, I said objectively, I understand why they could have been the other few that could win if that.
No. It's Will, and Will's wrong. We all know Will's wrong, and I'm right. Okay. That brings us to our next award, probably one of the most important, and that is the Beverly Monroe Female Superstar of the Year. This award goes to the main roster woman that displays being the best superstar for the WWE brand, either on Raw or SmackDown, and it is named in honor of our third co-host, the Hitman himself, who is joining us now, Eric Monroe, here to honor his mother, Beverly Monroe. Welcome back, Eric.
What's up? My shades are not as good as yours, but I had to wear them.
I mean, you got the Hitman sunglasses, the Hitman shirt, I believe, as well, donning your thing. I just got the Final Boss one, so, I got to go with my Secret Boss version.
I love it, though. I love it. So, I miss you guys.
Yeah, I miss having you here, man.
I know. Oh, I miss Hot Tape Channel. I miss all of it. I just miss it all. It was so much fun.
All right. Go ahead with the nominees.
Okay. Gotta take the shades off. Just can't see out of these things. Okay. So, nominee number 1 is Rhea Ripley. Rhea's year began on a rough note as she had to vacate her championship due to a serious injury ending her reign at 380 days. Her woes continued at SummerSlam, where Dominic Mysterio betrayed her, costing her a chance to regain her championship. Rhea finally got her revenge against Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day, recapturing her championship. However, she lost it to Io Sky a few months later. She failed to recapture it at WrestleMania 40. Our second nominee is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan captured Rhea's vacant championship at King and Queen of the Ring, and held it on to it for quite some time, thanks to help of her new boyfriend, Dominic Mysterio. During her time as champion, Liv became the first WWE Women's Crown Jewel champion by defeating Nia Jax. Liv ultimately lost her championship to Ripley, but won the Women's Tag Team Championship alongside... Wait, what does this say real quick? Hold on. Wait. One second.
Raquel Rodriguez?
Wait, I need to... My screen went like that. Hold on, wait 1 second. Going back real quick. So, I screenshot it. Right. It says something Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
She lost to Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, when I screenshotted it, at the bottom of Matt came up, so I blocked that. But that's nominee number 2. Nominee number oh geez, I screenshotted the wrong thing. But anyway, nominee number 3, Chelsea Green. Green shifted between the main roster and NXT, displaying her versatility and ability to work with any opponent. She challenged for the women's Money in the Bank and Tag Team Championships, but was unsuccessful at capturing Aver. Her persistence paid off as she entered and won the inaugural Women's United States Championship tournament. She successfully has defended her championship and established the Green regime, where she acts as president and is guarded by her service, featuring Piper Devine and Alba Freya. Nominee number 4 is Io Sky. Sky was drafted to the Raw brand alongside her Damage Control stable. She lost every opportunity that came her way, even when she teamed with Kairi Sane for women's tag team championships. Her fortune would turn as she would won the Women's World Championship to become the first Grand Slam champion in Japan and USA. She also became the first Japanese woman to win at WrestleMania. And the AfterMat Award for the Beverly Monroe Female Superstar of the Year is, drumroll please, Liv Morgan.
Yeah, so Liv garnered 4 votes, Rhea Ripley garnered 2 votes, and Io Sky got 1. I don't know if I was at Io Sky 1 vote or somebody else was. I really wanted to vote for Io Sky because I really like what she's done since last WrestleMania, but I felt like this was the year of Liv. Like, she was all over like WWE TV, and she really represented the women's division. Either by winning the women's championship or the tag team championship. She was plastered all over this year. And once again, I had to go with who I felt deserved it as opposed to who I really would wanted to vote for in this case. So I could have voted for Rhea Ripley as well, but I felt Rhea Ripley was out injured for a little while. And during that time, Liv Morgan was still around, like dominating and like placing a stamp on the division, the women's division. That's why I felt that Liv Morgan deserved this victory. What about you, Delisha?
Yeah, I actually do agree. If we're going off, just the nominees and what they did in this aftermath season, you couldn't deny that Liv was all over this year, whether it was in singles competition or tag team competition. She has been the face of the women's division for the last year and still continues to do so, even post season for the last only for the last week that we've been in the next season. But yeah, I would agree with the votes, especially like you said, because Rhea was out for a little bit.
All right, Eric, I know you haven't been watching as much, but you did watch WrestleMania. What do you think of the performance of some of these women? Because I think all of them were featured on WrestleMania,
the women,
except for Chelsea.
Where they've gone with the women's division and all that, from where it was like there was almost like nothing in the 90s. You had the Lunger Blaze and all that, but what they've done, I do think is absolutely amazing with what they've done at the women's division, where women's wrestling has gone, women's Royal Rumble and all that stuff. It is actually amazing because you would think in the 90s it would never get to that kind of level that it's gotten to, but it absolutely has.
And even with the fact, to add to that, is like now they are able to wrestle in the Saudi area, and they have the Queen of the Ring, which is held in Saudi Arabia this past year as well. So there's a Queen and King of the Ring that year. So they are making leaps and bounds in the division, and I know it means a lot to Triple H and Stephanie and stuff. Even HBK is doing a great job at NXT. The NXT, if you think the WWE women are great, you have to check out the NXT women. They are like leaps and bounds above the WWE women, in my opinion. I think Alicia probably agrees as well. A lot of people I think agree with that. Like, they are the best women on the planet, and when it comes to wrestling and all that. I mean, they do have their mess ups because they're young, but like their like starting level is like a peaks of some of the wrestlers on the main brand. So like that's how good they are. And if you have some time, definitely check them out. There's some like when we get to next gen. Or did we do female next gen yet? Yeah, we did female next gen. But some of those people we mentioned there, check them out. They're soon coming up to the main brand, most likely. Check them out. They're really good. But other than that, it's great to see you again. What have you been up to while you were away for a year?
A little sore. Dental work. I just had dental work done today. I told you my mouth is really sore. But yeah, I've just been working a lot. My dad's been okay, which is always a good thing, thank God. And it's amazing to me that I think this is the 7th time I've presented this award. It's just amazing how time flies. But it means so much to me that you do it. I love coming back and presenting it. It means so much to me. And like I said, I miss you guys.
Yeah, we miss and we love you, and I know it's a tragedy that took you away from this, show, but we're always gonna have a place for you here all the time, and always hope if we do anything to honor your mother and all that, we're gonna keep it up here.
Of course. And I'm so glad you guys are on my Facebook and all that. It's good to see you guys.
I rarely post on Facebook. Actually, I posted the other day because it's Darwin's birthday. But other than that, I rarely post.
Gotcha.
But anything else you want to report? You got anything coming? No more Hours of the Fury. Nothing like that. So
that kind of ended. But I missed the Night's Watch so much. I feel like that really was my favorite after Game of Thrones podcast. It was just great. And when I got the guest host the one time, it was great.
I mean, it's like the whole crew that we get. Eventually we
was
probably have a reunion or
fantastic.
something. I feel like all
We
of us.
should have. We definitely have to talk to Kimber and Tom. Definitely should have a reunion.
I feel like a lot of us are up here, aren't we? Nowadays, I think in this area.
No.
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 Everyone else is farther away from us.
The closest person will be Billy, who's in not Ohio,
St.
Michigan.
Louis, Michigan. No, I mean,
St. Louis.
the Randall's close in North Carolina. He comes up here too, so that's the thing. I don't know.
I thought you meant like close, like within 2 to 3 hours.
No, I mean like we're mostly like northeast, like north eastern area, like as so all you guys like Raul, Janine, and then Tom and Kimber, like that are like West Coast. Not West Coast, but West. Like if you think of sports, you think Eastern Western Conference. That's what I mean. Like I feel like a lot of us are on the Eastern Conference, and then there's 4 people, and then we're not talking about the international people. Screw the international people.
Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan, Nolan, and all them.
Nolan.
Yeah. So
we had a really great crew. I miss everyone.
A big eclectic
We
group.
should definitely do a reunion. We should definitely talk to Kimber.
Or at least we can get on this, like on Discord or something, and get all of us on like the Brady Bunch, like we used to have on Blab back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I would totally be down for that. Absolutely.
Well, Eric, it's great seeing you. Is there anything else you want to say before you go, where we can find you and all that kind of stuff?
You can find me, I guess, on Twitter still at MM_Koch200.
That's
just saying that.
Koch.
And
he's got to say that all the time. He always said that.
Koch. That became so classic. It's crazy how classic that became.
We should have made that a shirt.
Yes.
It's like
I should have had Janine. Definitely should have hit up Janine and make a shirt.
At Koch on the front, and then the back had been like, that's Koch, like on the back.
Oh, that would have been
on
classic.
The back.
Oh,
there you go. Like Marketing would have been great.
I love that. Yeah.
Now Triple H is gonna steal that idea. Someone's gonna have that shirt on Raw on Monday. Watch tonight.
I love that.
All right, Eric. Thank you for joining.
Last thing I would last you with Status Rapid is still and will always be the one true king of the 7 kingdoms. And I will leave you with that. Good night.
Thank you so much. Bye. All right. It's great to see Eric again. As you go, he was our original co-host with us. We had a trio till, unfortunately, his mother had passed away. But I love that we can still honor her every year with the award in her name. That takes us to our next award, the Tag Team of the Year. A tag team is comprised of 2 wrestlers, either male or female. And then sometimes they have a mixed match tag team where it's a male and a female. But a tag team that teams together for most of the majority of their matches, and they fight for usually what's known as the tag team championships. I believe Alicia's covering this award.
Yes. So our first nominee for Tag Team of the Year goes to the New Day, who actually spent the first half of our season kind of wandering around. They were still prevalent in the tag team division, but they hadn't really gained much traction until they or at first we thought they were going to break up because there was a lot of friction between those two for a good while, until they came together and realized that their common source of frustration / enemy was actually their third or former third member of the group, Big E. Much to all the heartbreak to all of us, they turned their backs on them and turned heel for the new folks here, and focus on garnering their prominence as they used to be, to try to regain the tag team championships, to cementify I think I just made up that
Yeah.
word.
Cement.
cement-
Period. Cement. That's it.
their legacy as the best tag team of all divisions, and they seemed to do that in this past Mania when they won their 12th. I think we mentioned this last week, and I forgot already. 12th or 13th title since their inauguration as a team, and they are continuing to do so now to further showcase of why they are again the best tag team of the division. Only our awards will let you know if that is the case. Next is Judgment Day, which was another team who was fairly dominant throughout the year with holding the tag team titles until they lost them to the War Raiders. But even in loss, they still are dominant. Usually they will be, you will see them with as Finn and Dom, but of course other members of Judgment Day, which also include JD and Carlito, would also get involved as well. So even though they are stable, they still can, or what we call free bird rules, tag team it out between however which way they want to set it up. And again, they were one of the most dominant teams of the year. Next, we have Street Profits, which I guess I should have named the New Day, which is Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, for those who might not know. And then we have the Street Profits on the SmackDown side of Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, who, despite not having tag team gold until fairly a few weeks ago throughout, I believe, their tag team reign, they still were the most dominant team on SmackDown, whether it be in the ring and also on the mic, letting battling in feuds with DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns, and also with the LWO before they got traded, and then also with Legado de Fantasma. As well, the Street Profits have continually said that they want the smoke, and they continue to bring that in all of their matches, showcasing why they are one of the premier teams on SmackDown, and some would say also of the tag team division as well. And then last but not least, we have our only female nominees of this category, which is Bianca and Jade. They did not have a name. They had won their second tag team title championships after, well, they first lost them to the Unholy Union at the Backlash in France, and then regained them a month or two later. And they would be the dominant female team of the division up until Jade was taken out at the time by an unknown assassin back in November, and then Jade would be replaced with Naomi to continue that dominancy up until they lost the titles to Liv and Raquel in February. So they showcased why, being the dominant team they were, and why they deserve to be on our nomination board. And the ultimate award went to the Judgment Day. As I said, they were pretty much dominant in their tag team reign before they lost them to the War Raiders. I feel like a lot of the teams, except for maybe the Street Profits, just because they hadn't won gold until recently, deserve the win. And not to say that the Street Profits deserve to be nominated. I think between them, Judgment Day and Bianca and Jade, I think they were kind of like neck and neck of dominancy. So I feel like it could have gone either way. But Kyle, you can tell us what the votes went to, and if you agree with the winner.
Well, I would have to agree with the winner because I chose the winner here. Before I voted, it was Judgment Day with 2 votes, New Day with 2 votes, Street Profits with 1 vote, and Bianca and Jade with 1 vote. Now, I really wanted to vote for Street Profits, but then I'm like, wait, they only really won the championship pretty recently. Then I'm like, well, I want to vote for Bianca and Jade because they really wrestled well together and they did really a lot of cool tag team moves when they were a tag team. But they weren't a tag team for a lot of the year because of, like you said, Jade's injury. And then Naomi took her spot. So I'm like, okay, I'm stuck between New Day and Judgment Day. And New Day I don't really like, but they are a dominant tag team. However, this year they weren't dominant. They were pretty much losing the entire year until now they had their heel turn, and now they're winning. You know, they won at WrestleMania. So I had to go with Judgment Day because they were the most dominant, like you said, throughout the course of the year, and thus ultimately making my vote the deciding vote. But I went through it step by step and voted how I thought would be fair, and that's how it turned out. But actually, I wouldn't have voted for any of these teams, to be honest. I didn't really like this nomination list, but I went with what was nominated the most. I don't know honestly who I would have went with here, because I think
Who did you pick on your side?
I picked did I think Liv and Raquel, Io, and I think was it Bailey or Dakota? Maybe Dakota. And then I don't know, maybe Kyrie. Whoever was I wrote damage control. I'm like, whoever you want to conclude damage control.
It was with damage control, because
they rotate. They kind of rotate.
But it was mainly Asuka and Kari for in 2024 that had the champion.
So that's why I said like damage control, and then I think I put Bianca and Jade, and I can't remember the fourth. It might have been Liv and Raquel. Unless I already said that. I'm not sure. I said Liv and Raquel. That means I put I think I put like more women than I did for men. So I don't know. Like I just thought like the men's tag team wasn't really that good, to be honest.
Yeah,
so.
and we mentioned that on our Mania recap about the tag team championship is in one of those roller coaster slumps.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that this category was hard to try to pick like the best ones of the bunch.
Because normally it's just the Usos. It's always the Usos, and it's easy. So
the Usos haven't been a tag team in like 4 years.
Well, I know that's why it was an issue, because it was the Usos. All right.
Oh, that's true. And yeah. Oh yeah. Let's move on. We've talked enough about
the next award goes to the male next gen superstar. So once again, it's the male NXT superstar that best exemplifies their division.
Okay. Yeah. This was Will, so I had to go over to what he had wrote up. So our first nominee goes to Obafemi. Oba has been a dominant force in NXT. He will become the longest reigning NXT North American champion in history, and winning the Iron Survivor Challenge while being the surprise fifth man in that match, and then eventually winning the NXT Championship off of Trick Williams, who is our next nominee. There was a lot of whooping from Trick in 2025. He was a two-time NXT champion, getting a second reign off of Ethan Page with a special ref CM Punk in Chicago. However, he has shown a new aggressive side since his loss to Obafemi, hence why he made this nomination. Next, we have Ethan Page, who made a shocking debut of taking out Trick. Ethan Page will have set a record for fastest time reaching the NXT champion from their debut. He had rivalry the likes of Trick Williams, as we mentioned before, Joe Hendry, Javon Evans, and Ricky Saint. And our last nominee would be Javon Evans. He is a young OG and one of NXT's fastest rising stars. I think Will put 20. I think he's 22. Anyway, may not have had many championship opportunities, yet he had a match with Randy Orton in St. Louis and a great rivalry with Ethan Page over his smile, and strong showing at Stand and Deliver with Trick Williams and Obafemi. This kid will only go up from here. And the winner for our NXT male generation star would be Obafemi, which is probably a shock to no one. Like we said, Will has wrote up that he was the most dominant champion on NXT. I guess only next to Roxanne. But his force can just not be denied. He pretty much, since he stepped foot into NXT, I believe, or I should say on the TV, a year or two ago, you just realize that he has it, that aforementioned it that everyone talks about. And I think he is only still in NXT just to help garner up some other talent, because this man is main roster ready. And I just want to see him and Jacob Fatu go at it, or him and Bronson Reed go at it, or him and a lot of other people to go at it, because I feel like they would just have really good matches. But Kyle, do you like Obafemi as the winner for this category, or do you think it went to someone else?
You said I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. It's a surprise to one person, because apparently one person voted for Trick Williams. I guess that kind of makes sense, but Obafemi definitely did. I think this should have been a 7-0 shutout. Obafemi got 6 votes. Trick Williams got 1 vote. Trick Williams did have a good year. He's very over and hot with the NXT crowd. with his entrance and all that kind of stuff. But Obafemi, man, he's like one, like you said, one of those dominant factors that we haven't seen since, like you say, Roxanne, but I don't even think Roxanne would win a lot, but she wasn't dominant. Like when I think dominant, I think of like Gunther, I think of Asuka, like that kind of dominant. Like that's what Obafemi is. He's like that destroyer dominant, like Asuka and Gunther. But yeah, like now that I'm watching NXT and stuff like that, and I'm picking all this up and learning all these people, they all had a good year. Like they all, like the men's division at this point was really, really good. It still is even. But like Obafemi, even just his walk, his swagger, feuding with Moose from TNA and all that kind of stuff. It's been an amazing year for Obafemi in the men's division of NXT. Trick Williams, okay, yes, I guess he can get that one vote. Because if anyone else deserves it, it's Trick Williams in this category. I'm not as much angry as at this one vote skewing the unanimous vote as I am with the CM Punk and Drew losing the one to Cody and Kevin Owens. Pissed me off. But yeah, I think it's the first year also we have no unanimous winners. So that's also a first for AfterMat. But yeah, this should have been unanimous. If not this, then the CM Punk Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, but I guess it makes sense because it's pretty much been the Ova and Trick show for basically the last 6 months for sure. So you could make the argument of why Trick would have been chosen.
Mm-hmm. Our next award is for the Champion of the Year. This is obviously for the champion that best exemplifies holding the belt and bringing prestige to the championship.
All right. Our first nominee goes to the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes, who won his the WWE Championship. I still don't know the names.
WWE Undisputed Championship.
Who wants to say all that?
Apparently, ring announcers and whoever talks about it. I call it the WWE Championship, but that's what it's officially called.
I just always say the SmackDown title because that's where it's predominant. Where supposedly it's supposed to be, defended on. But we had Cody Rhodes who won it at last year's WrestleMania to finish his story against Roman Reigns of capturing the gold, and now the new chapter has started where we saw him infuse the likes of Logan Paul, KO, excuse me, and pretty much he was a take on all comers at any point through his reign, which is what you look for in your champion, especially your face champion. Next, we have Miss Chelsea Green, who is the first U.S. women's champion. And although this is still a very new title, it's only been around for a couple of months, she has been making the most of her time, of her TV time, especially with her Secret Service. I think it's in Piper Niven, and soon also following Alba Fire as her Secret Service members because she is the representative of the U.S. in her title reign. And she has done great character work, especially in the life of her feuds with Zelina Vega and Michin. And then we have Gunther, who is no stranger to this list or nomination, as I believe we had him nominated while he was the IC champion, but now as the world champion. Cal, help me out here. You know, I don't know the name.
Yeah, he's the world heavyweight champion.
Oh, okay, thanks. To where he continued his dominance by feuding with the likes of Sheamus and Jey Uso, which seems to dominate a bunch of his feud, but he also had no problem throwing hands with anyone, even if it might have been his own stablemate and Ludwig. That was just to show him he could do better. They didn't really have a match. And then we also had Io Sky, who won her second or third championship against Rhea when she won back in February. Because she's only been champion for now I don't know the new number, but up until Mania, I believe it was about 45, 46 days. To where she, even in that short amount of time, showed that she is not to be one to ignored, and showcase why she also deserved to be champion by retaining against Bianca and Rhea. And the winner for this nomination, probably much to the chagrin to Cal, would be Cody Rhodes. He has been the face of the company for a very long time, and so I guess it would be deserved. I don't. Cal will tell us what the vote count was, but I feel like between him and Gunther, they've kind of been the dominant force of singles championship titles for the Raw and SmackDown brands respectively. But against over Gunther, Cody has just been featured more and had some more of the more in-depth stories to go along with his titles, while Gunther, a lot of it focused a lot on Jay, and some people were kind of getting soured on that a little bit as well. But still, everyone, well, I do have a gripe with this nominee, if you would let me go on for a little bit. I don't know why Io Sky was put on here over either Rhea and Liv. Like I said, like I mentioned before, she was only champion for 45 days, so I don't know how she could be champion of the year. But I digress. She is a good champion. Don't get me wrong. Love her. She's a good champion. I think for this particular list, I would have went with either Liv or Rhea or even Tiffany, just who I think had a slight longer reign than Io. But like I said, I digress. As her as a, I think people were going off as a wrestler and not what she was doing in the aftermath year. But do you agree with that?
Okay.
And
So
and go ahead.
I didn't include any of these people in my champion of the year, just so you know. None of the people were in my list of champion of the year.
Wait, who did you put? This is like mostly all the well, not all the champions.
Liv, Rhea, I think I put Bianca and Jade as tag team. I put who I thought should have been the winner of the champion of the year, because it's still undefeated, and that's The Rock as the people's champion. I put that as my thing, but no one else picked him, so I couldn't put him on here. But I should have just put him as a secret boss. I should have put the final boss as the winner of this category, because I hate Cody Rhodes. And believe it or not, I actually had to vote for Cody Rhodes. I voted for Cody Rhodes, and I hate him so much. Because, like you said, Io Sky was only champion for a little bit, so I don't think she deserved it. Chelsea Green, as great as she is, she's only champion for a little bit, so she didn't deserve it. Now, Gunther, and so it's basically between Gunther and Cody Rhodes, right? I like Gunther, I hate Cody Rhodes, but they did fight each other this year, and who won? Cody Rhodes won. So I was like, oh, damn it. Like, and Cody Rhodes has been more, like, on the mic and on screen and all that. Like, And how are you going to lose to Jey Uso? Pre-show Jey Uso. So, like, at least Cody lost to John Cena. So I was like, I have to. So I don't want to run here for Will. I'm not fair on this. I voted for Cody because I thought it was only of the nominees here, because I didn't want any of these nominees. But of the nominees here, I voted for Cody. So he got 4 votes. Chelsea got 1, which I'm guessing it might be you. Gunther got 1, which I think might have been Joe. And then Io got 1, which is somebody else. Because I would have voted for Io if I was not being fair. But I was being fair, and I voted for Cody. And he got 4 votes. But I should just put Rock as a champion for this one, as a people's champion, because he has not lost yet since getting that belt. So I think Rock is the champion of the year. That's what I'm going to go with. Anybody disagree? No? Okay, next award. The debut or return of the year, which I like to call the Let Me In award. And that goes to the superstar that has made a debut in the WWE, either to the main roster or returns from being away to another company and then coming back. And the nominees for the debut return of the year are the Wyatt Six. On June 17th, 2024 episode of Raw, Nikki Cross, Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy return under the control of Uncle Howdy. They would decimate countless backstage crew members, including Chad Gable. Nominee 2, Ricky Saints. February 11th, 2025 on NXT, Ricky Saints arrived in the crowd. He would cut a quick promo saying that the revolution is here. This was just days after his AEW release. Nominee number 3, Joe Hendry. First appearing in NXT on June 18th, 2024 in a number 1 contender battle royal, TNA's Joe Hendry made an appearance. The popularity of this star would lead to appearances at the 2025 Royal Rumble as entry number 15 and answering Randy Orton's open challenge at WrestleMania. And finally, nominee number 4, Jacob Fatu. Debuting on June 21st, 2024 episode of SmackDown, Fatu would come in to save Solo Sikoa from Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. He would obliterate all 3 men, including putting Cody through the table. And the winner of the Let Me In debut return of the year is Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu got 3 votes. Joe Hendry got 2 votes. And the White 6 got 2 votes. Now, I really, really wanted to vote for the White 6 because I thought that would have been the best. No, why didn't I vote for the? Oh no, I did vote for the White 6. Never mind. That's why I did. That's why they have 2 votes. I'm like, why would they win if I voted for them if they had 2 votes? I was one of those 2 votes. Never mind. I voted because I thought that was a cool set. Like, how awesome was that? Even though they haven't done anything since, that production value of that return was amazing. That was really cool. Jacob Fatu came in. Yes, he set a big mark by destroying 3 of the top superstars in WWE. That's cool, right? But the Wide 6 production value and all that, the horror and all that stuff that went into it, I thought that was awesome. I thought that should have won. What'd you think, Alicia?
Well, I voted for Jacob, if I remember correctly, which I agree. Mainly because he of all these of the other nominees, he's had the biggest impact on what he's done with his debut, and after his debut, I should say. The Wyatt 6, where are they? Don't know. Ricky, cool, but he's still pretty fresh in his debut and ultimately on screen time on NXT. Joe Hendry was a great moment, especially with the historical fact that he is a TNA star coming over and doing a few matches on NXT, and his appearance in the Rumble and having a Mania moment. So I think he would have been my next.
Wait. This award is called the debut or return. Just that moment. Yeah. We're not talking about what they've done since.
True. But also, Jacob, like you said, came in and wrecked house.
Right.
I think Joe Hendry just came in as an
and got thrown out 2 seconds into the match. It was a battle royal on NXT.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't matter. Yeah. The fact that he was there, it was sent a huge shock. So all these people did cause a huge shock, right? So which one was the best shock is what we're trying to get to in this point.
Yeah, but yeah. So I think I just voted it because if I ranked them, it would have been like Jacob, Hendry, Wyatt, Ricky.
This award was named after Bray Wyatt, the Let Me In award. Wouldn't it be apropos that the Wyatt 6 won it? But no, I have idiots that vote for this award, other than one other person who voted like me, because that's the right way to vote. I'm just letting you guys know now, it should have been the Wyatt 6, and I should have used my power to make the Wyatt 6 win, because that would have been a cool picture to see up on the screen. But no. Who says that? I work with idiots. Who says that? Is it Jericho? Or is somebody else? Somebody says that. Like, I work with idiots.
Well, Jericho is stupid idiot. So
yeah, but someone says I work with idiots. I forgot who it was. What wrestler says it? I can't think of it. Anyway, the next award goes to the Next Gen Tag Team of the Year, which of course is the next for the NXT. Remember, the promotional brand, or developmental brand, their Tag Team of the Year. And I believe Alicia is covering this
one. Yes. So our first nominee is Fraxium, who is made up of Axiom and Nathan Frazier. They pretty much, since they won the tag team titles, have one, like we've mentioned with others, dominated in their field and they also showcase some of the most acrobatic, high flying moves you will ever see. If you only watch main roster, you may have seen them this past Friday. Yeah, SmackDown, if you were not familiar with their game. Next up, we have an up-and-coming tag team, or a new tag team in this AfterMat season, which is Hank and Tank. And while they were slow to warm up to people because they were more of a comedy gimmick act, in the last 2 or 3 months, they have really been trying to showcase that they are a force to be reckoned with. And they proved that when they beat the former tag teams of Fraxium to become the now NXT tag team champions. So all their hard work has definitely paid off. And then we also now have Fatal Influence, which is a stable that includes hold on a second. I had to get that other timer done. All right, so Fatal Influence, which includes J.C. Jane, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix. They are a stable, but they do compete in tag teams, as I said earlier. For Judgment Day, like Freebird rules, where either one of the two, or if it's a 3-man tag, obviously they would all go in. They pretty much wanted to showcase that a lot of these newcomers who were coming in were people from like who were just being touted much on social media and just being thrown in to the NXT sphere. Their purpose, not what I'm saying, that was their purpose of coming together. And they have since show that they are a force to be reckoned with. While they have not been successful in their quest for tag team gold, they did help get their girl Finley to the North American Championship, which she held for a while before she lost to Stephanie Bakir. And then we have the unlikely duo of Zarya and Soruka. Zarya made her debut late last year when she came into the deadline match. I forgot the name of the match. I believe that was her debut match. I believe Soul was in that match as well. And they were adversaries at first, but came together, story as old as time in wrestling, to become a dominant, to now becoming a dominant force to be reckoned with in that tag team scene, which is building up each and every day. And they've been really wild in the crowd with Soul's acrobatic abilities and then Zarya's technical striking abilities as well. They mesh well together. And the winner for our next gen tag team is Fraxium. Again, Cal will tell us the vote count, but I'm not surprised. They have been the team in NXT, whether it be male or female, to showcase how much they work together, a tag team, and also in singles action. But Cal, did you like them being the winner for this category this year, or would you have chosen someone else?
No, this should have been another unanimous. This should have been a unanimous one also because Fraxium got 5 votes. Hank and Tank got 1 vote, and Fatal Influence also got 1 vote. But I really think that Fraxium should have garnered all the votes because they were the most dominant tag team in the NXT, and I felt they were the most deserving. On a side note, I was going to wait for Delisha to come back so I could say this side note, but she stepped away for a second, so I don't know if she could hear me. Oh, look at it. It's Solo. It's Solo. Hey, Solo. See, she knows. She knows. Fraxium is actually like a Swedish pop singer. That's the name of it. Because when I tried to Google pictures of Fraxium, like it came up like I don't know, it was some like Swedish or European like pop singer. I'm like, what the hell? And then I type in like Fraxium NXT to find pictures of them. Who would have thought? Like I'm like this is like when I type in Fraxium, like this is gonna be the easiest one to find pictures of. Because when you type some other stuff, like it'd be like harder to find, like Hank and Tank, maybe it might be something like weird or Fatal Influence. Like, Fatal Influence would be probably like a harder one to find because there might be like a tattoo shop or something named Fatal Influence or something, you know. But like Fraxium, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the easiest thing to find. But nope, it was the first thing that came up was like a European pop singer, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'd actually type in NXT. I never thought I'd have to specify, but yeah, Fraxium is the most deserving of the award. Our final regular award of the evening is a moment of the year. And I believe it's our final regular one. And that is for the moment during the year that made us go, oh my God, or made us like tweet out to each other or immediately contact each other about what happened and how big it was, or maybe just how big it hit the WWE universe or social media or the world in general. And the nominees for moment of the year are, some of these have been said earlier, so I'm just going to have a more brief roundup of them or description. Nominee number 1, John Cena announces his retirement. John Cena announced his retirement through a farewell tour at Money in the Bank Toronto, saying he will never return to the ring after 2025. Nominee number 2, John Cena heel turn. After Cody Rhodes refused to sell his soul to The Rock, John Cena quickly accepted the offer and turned on his longtime friend, leaving Cody a bloody mess and turning his back on the WWE Universe the same night. Nominee number 3, Joe Hendry appearances. Hendry appeared first on NXT in a Battle Royal for the NXT Championship #1 contender, and he lost to Ethan Page as well. He made a Royal Rumble debut where he was eliminated by Roman Reigns. Finally, he appeared as Randy Orton's open challenge open challenge opponent and lost by an RKO out of nowhere during his signature pose. And the final nominee is Paul Heyman joins Seth Rollins. Paul Heyman turns his back on longtime friend Seth Rollins and his tribal chief Roman Reigns with 2 swift low blows. He hands a chair to Seth Rollins to nail in the final dagger. And the winner of the AfterMat Moment of the Year is John Cena's heel turn. I think this comes as no surprise because it was the most epic moment we've had in probably the past 10 years, I would say. Because like I said, it sent shockwaves through the media, sent shockwaves through social media, through everything. People who didn't even know about wrestling were like, oh my God, John Cena turned heel. You know, that was the biggest thing. So it got 6 votes. One moron, and I guarantee you know what moron this is, voted for Joe Hendry. Okay? And you all know who that is. So make sure you tweet at him how much of a moron he is for voting Joe Hendry. Because everyone else, like the world, voted for John Cena's heel turn, which I think is the biggest moment of the year. What do you think, Alicia?
I would agree. Well, I voted for it, so yeah, I would agree. Like you said, it spanned across mainstream media. It was on SportsCenter and all over ESPN when it happened. And it happened in a way that, I mean, not in a way, it happened because we never thought we would get to see this. Like I said, well, he hasn't been a heel since his early Dr. Thugonomic days, back over what, 15 years ago?
20 years ago since he turned heel. That's how big it was.
Right. So yeah, that's why it was the biggest thing in wrestling. Right. Well, like I said, biggest thing in the world of these moments. And like I said, and like I've said before, these nominations, it's not to discontent with the other nominees because they got nominated, obviously, so they did deserve to be there. But yeah, this moment trumped everything else. The only second place moment I would put is the Paul Heyman turn. But Paul Heyman turning on someone isn't all that new.
Yeah.
But the way he did it, and to the people who did it too, made it another standout moment. But yeah,
this is like 20. This is like 15 to 20 years in the making. So like, I feel like this is huge. So.
Yeah.
All right. The final award of the evening is the Superstar of the Year. And that award goes to, what we do is we compile all the men's superstars of the nominees and all the women's Superstar of the Year nominees and put them all together and let the people who voted for this, the previous categories, vote for the one who's the best of the best, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, and see who it is. So I won't be giving a little description on each, but because we already mentioned the descriptions before when we gave them the male and female Superstar of the Year. But here's a brief rundown of who was nominated for the male and female Superstar of the Year. For the males, you have Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Dominic Mysterio, and for the women, you have Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Chelsea Green, and Io Sky. Now, Alicia, do you know who won this yet, or no?
Nope.
You don't know who won, right? So,
Nope.
I'm going to ask you, who do you think is the most deserving of the award, but who do you think won the award? Or are they one and the same?
I think they all were deserving. Maybe the least likely being Io against the rest of them, mainly because she's kind of been mid card ish, not being showcased a lot until the last couple of months. I feel like with audience popularity, it might have been Cody. I don't even remember who I voted for, or Bianca, or Jake.
Well,
but
two of those 3 people you mentioned are not even nominated.
Oh, sorry. They went through a long list and then I forgot. You did mention
Jacob is on the list, yes. But
Yeah,
Bianca and
yeah,
Cody
yeah.
are not. Remember I was saying
Oh.
how this year's 4 men have not been nominated last year? Last year was like Cody, Roman, Seth,
Oh,
and
that's-
Gunther. So it's all like new people this year.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Jacob for who won the popularity of vote.
Okay. So I think last year, I don't know if it was Gunther that won this. It might have been Gunther or Roman Reigns. Oh no, actually no, sorry. The Rock won this award last year. Out of nowhere, without being nominated, he won. I don't know how that happened, but he won last year. Okay. Well, the women garnered 0 votes. All the women garnered 0 votes. Dominic Mysterio surprisingly garnered 1 vote. Jacob Fatu garnered 1 vote. So it came down between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, who each had two votes. And me, as the last vote, voted for the person who I felt deserved this award, who carried the WWE through the year. But, of course, he had CM Punk as help. But Drew McIntyre is the AfterMat Superstar of the Year, garnering 3 votes, to CM Punk's 2 votes, to Jacob Fatu's 1 vote, to Dominic Mysterio's 1 vote. How do you feel about that, Alicia?
I agree with it, with Drew being the winner. Yeah, I'm actually not sure as far as Superstar of the Year. I don't know if I would have put Dom on there. But I do think all of them have had moments of being at the top of their game. But Drew, just like we mentioned before, on all fronts, was just firing on all cylinders, and it was his year.
Definitely, I agree. Yeah, I think they all could have got it, like except for maybe Io. Like you said, she didn't really have that. Actually, no, Io was great. She just hasn't been champion all year, so I could say all of them deserve it. Yeah, but I really felt Drew did the most for the company, whether inside the ring or outside the ring. He was the best. That brings us to our finishers. So, Delisha, after this whole year of AfterMat, what have you enjoyed the most, and what are you looking forward to most next season?
Yeah, I've just enjoyed everything that involved Drew, Punk, and Seth, because all 3 of them had, like I was saying, calling it on-site energy, meaning whenever they were in the room, they were fighting each other, and you just never knew what they were going to do next. So I really enjoyed that as a whole. And then I also, even though it's still kind of recent, so it's more like recency bias, I have personally enjoyed the Naomi and Jade stuff. I think Naomi is helping Jade bring out the best of her abilities, and I kind of, because again, I know it's going into like this season, but we've seen that feud is not over, and so I'm curious to see what they do with that. But what I'm looking forward to the most is seeing what John Cena is going to be up to. Like we have him and Randy at Backlash coming up, but I want that to kind of be the last of his like legacy feud, so to speak. I want to see him mix it up with some of the newer folks on the roster before he's gone, because this will be their I don't mean like who just came. I don't know. I don't mean like someone who's just been on the roster for 3 weeks. I mean like
a Braun Breaker, or like
a Gunther, or see, now my mind's going.
Sami Zayn, like those kind of guys. Kevin Owens.
Yeah, or like people we haven't seen him get to mix it up with because he was gone, or what?
I'll let you know now. We're still gonna have one more old time feud because he's got to fight CM Punk.
Oh yeah, I'd be into that as well. Especially like this Punk, and with the heel Cena. I'd be really interested to see with how those two, if they have any chemistry, how that would translate in the ring.
I enjoyed like obviously the Bloodline storyline kind of phased out, but it faded out after like Raw 1 on Netflix, right? But I really enjoy that. I've always loved the Bloodline storyline. I thought it was going to continue with the final boss thing, but that kind of fizzles out. But it might not. So what I'm looking forward to, like you, is the John Cena like final farewell tour, right? Because he's leaving after this year. What I'd love to see is like him with the help of the final boss, like because I know people are on the Rock's case right now. The final boss come back and maybe use some of that power, that influence that he has, and put John Cena into the Money in the Bank match and have John Cena win the Money in the Bank. Even though he's champion, he said he's going to ruin it for the WWE fans, right? He's going to ruin wrestling. So imagine the champion holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. That would be awful, wouldn't it? Takes away all the surprise for the men. But let's have him lose at SummerSlam, right, to whoever he's facing. They're saying maybe it's going to be Cody Cena 2 or CM Punk, who knows, and have him lose that belt, but immediately cash in again, like hit Cody in the back and cash in and win it again, and then lose it maybe at Survivor Series or somewhere down the line. That would completely ruin wrestling, and that's what Cena's goal is. So I mean, I don't want to see it for the fact of it ruin wrestling, but I want to see it for the storyline aspect, because that's what Cena said he's gonna do, and that would be a clever way of bringing The Rock back to use his power to help Cena, because that's the whole thing. Like, he kind of like was there for Cena's heel turn at Elimination Chamber, kind of selling his soul. So seeing all that culminate in like The Rock helping Cena during his farewell tour, I'd love to see that. And then maybe him handing the belt to The Rock when he leaves. But even though he said he's retiring with it, which would be great as well. Any of that. So like, if he can win some Money in the Bank, like I said, by helping Rock influence him to get into the Money in the Bank, winning it, and then losing the championship, but winning it 10 seconds later after hitting somebody with the belt. I mean, with the briefcase, that would be great as well. That'd be awesome. But I guess we'll see. With that said, Delisha, where can we find you? You have anything coming out? Anything to look forward to coming from you?
Anything coming out in the near future, not so much, but if you would like, you can follow me on Delisha Renee TV on Instagram and on Twitter, where I was doing lifestyle content, but at the time, due to personal businesses, not businesses as in like money making, but personal stuff that's going on, I haven't been able to film anything, but I'm trying to figure out a way of how I could possibly get into it or make the announcement that it's just going to be suspended indefinitely for now, but I'm hoping to get back into it.
As for me, like I want to go ahead and thank Delisha for 8 great seasons. We still have more to come. We're not ending here. As we start our ninth season, we'll be starting with Backlash. If you see above me, the PLE is on May 10th, so we'll be covering it on AfterMat May 12th. That'll be the season 9 premiere. So thank you, Delisha, for 9 great seasons. Thank you to Eric for being with us in the beginning and still coming back every year to honor his mother and the Beverly Monroe Female Superstar of the Year. All of you people who've been watching us and supporting us for 8 years, I guess, and on to the 9th year, hopefully. I want to thank Will for helping us out and supporting us as well, writing in his nominations and all that stuff, and writing up the little write-ups and stuff and helping out here and there when Delisha can't be there, or just to give us insight on Royal Rumble and all his facts. He's like a Royal Rumble expert. And even though he has the worst takes in wrestling, we all know, we still appreciate him being here. But especially, like I said, once again to all of you, and especially to myself for putting up with all of you and doing all this, because it's a lot of work. And as much as I love doing it, I do it for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. So that's the next time you'll see us, is that Backlash. Until then, remember, all of you are idiots, and the secret boss is always right. Until next time, see you all later. Bye.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on